By looking at these two photos alone, one might assume that these two are your typical white guy who should be seen as privileged, particularly in America. But you see, you are entirely wrong. The guy on top is actually from deep inside Afghanistan, which some people from that region would be considered white in America. Let me explain first. You need to know white is hegemonic, more social construct than based in any reliable science. It has expanded in the past, often to form a monolithic representation against minority groups. For example, despite their fair skin, did you know up until into the 1900s, Irish, Polish, Jewish, and Italian immigrants in the US had to earn whiteness? Understand that whiteness is often associated with Anglo-Saxon Protestant privileges, which don't apply to Jewish people, which is why Jewish people, Polish, Italians, and Greek people were not seen as fully white in the early 20th century, meaning racism as being structural, societal, and based around power dynamics of people's inherent privilege. Basically, this means that only people in systemic positions of privilege can be racist, as people who are disadvantaged don't have the structural or systemic ability to be racist. In the USA, white people, especially white men, are seen as the group with privilege and power, and therefore only they can be truly racist, which is obviously not true. Racism can and does exist independently of societal privilege. Over the last few years, there has been a massive and targeted polarization of Western and especially American society, particularly based on race, as the USA has a visceral cultural memory and history of racism. Think Civil War, slavery, segregation, etc. Which is why they view race as either being white or black, which is especially used to divide the USA in order to weaken them and the countries in their cultural sphere of influence. I see that they can't even understand that different places have different ethnic and racial dynamic. Like, for example, this guy who would be considered white in America would not be considered white in Russia, therefore not being privileged. But sadly, even American tertiary education promotes these false claims.